What is hatching, Tiger Peeps? OldManTup coming at you today with our Week 1 matchup versus Randall HLD, the man himself. And this is the team matchup. We're going to see right a preview, everything in the list on our side, which we went over in the team builder that should have gone up a couple hours before this. Sorry about the delay on that, got a little bit behind. But things he brought. Jolteon, fairly well prepped for that, not worried about that. Yveltal, can you ever really be ready for Yveltal? That thing is just really good, hence why it's an Uber. Mega Latios, fairly well prepped for that. Infernape, we hope we prepped good enough for that. That was one of the biggest problems we had with the front office in team building all week long. So he's got Roserade and his Suicune, so we definitely want to be mindful of that, and we will get this match fired up and see what is gonna happen here. But anyways, if you guys are excited about this season of the GBA for the Pirattatas, go ahead and hashtag Jolly Roger down below to let us know you're happy. He's gonna lead with his Jolteon, and we are going to lead with our Strawberry. The entire point of this is to set up rocks and spread around Toxic, so if we can do that, we'll be perfectly happy with everything going on. That is going to do about a quarter damage. PJ Tucker is going to come out the Roserade. We're not really worried about that. And we get our Stealth Rock set up, and if we can just get an early paralysis on this, making a possible Scarf threat completely null and void, we're going to see a Toxic Spike, so really not certain at this point whether or not he is Scarfed. But we're just going to drop Body Slam, see what we can do, and that does a ton of damage. We do see the Black Sludge, so we know he's not Scarfed, so that's good. So this is a little bit bulkier of a set. Probably especially defensive, because that did so much damage. And he is going to hit us really hard with a Sludge Bomb, but we're going to win this battle if he decides to stay in and just keep taking Body Slams. It would have been really nice had we snagged a Paralysis, because we would take one less Sludge Bomb and be able to finish him off with a Body Slam. But he is just going to be able to continue to Sludge Bomb us, and neither of us get that 30% roll to either him poison me or me hit him with the possible paralysis. But I'm just going to keep milk drinking up, trying to get myself in a better position moving forward until he gets to the point where I think a Body Slam will take him out. This turn, I'm almost back to full health. Should Body Slam here just to take him out and possibly catch a switch, but he's just going to leave this in. We're going to get it about 50% health. Again, neither of us getting terribly lucky with those secondary effects this early in the matchup. But we're going to be back right around full health. He's going to bring out James Harden, which is his Infernape, which is what we are the most worried about at this point. He's just going to take this turn to set up Stealth Rocks, which I was a little surprised about. But this is going to give us a chance to drop a Toxic. I thought maybe we'd just see a U-turn out here, just for a little bit of scouting. And that Toxic is going to slowly start racking up the damage on this Infernape. And we're just going to stay in and continue to lay down hits on things. There are rocks on both sides of the field, but at this point I'm not terribly worried about defogging them away. It's going to bring Gerald Green back out, and we are just going to go for the Body Slam, because should he have stayed in and close combated, it probably would have taken us out. But like I said, the only point of this thing right now was to get up Stealth Rocks and spread around a little bit of status. And he isn't taking us out. We do have that special defense. He is just going to go back out into James Harden. So he's taking unnecessary damage on 2 of his Mons at this point, just trying to play around, making predictions on this Miltank. But like I said, the only reason I brought it was to soak a few hits up and set up Stealth Rocks. And we've only had him on the field, and we've taken out Roserade, taken his Jolteon down to 50%, Toxic'd this Infernape, and got it almost completely down. So that is a very successful first showing of our boy, our girl Miltank. So very happy with Strawberry's debut. He's going to switch out into Capella here. Going to take Stealth Rock damage. We are going to Dark Pulse because we would have outsped. Just laying some damage on anything that wants to come in. We do see the Leftovers variant. I'm really hoping this isn't Crocune because I just hate that variant. But we are going to Your Turn out here. Get a little bit of damage off. And switch out into Aerial because we can haze this thing for days. And we are just at base. Poison damage, so we will not be accruing toxic damage. But that does give us that nice defense boost. He is just going to Calm Mind here. And I really, really don't know why I went into this thing as opposed to something else. Yeah, because I don't really have anything to do this. I don't know if I just wasn't really expecting the sub to come up or what. But I'm stuck in a really unhappy place because I don't have anything that I think is going to easily break this substitute without taking a hard hit. We're going to switch out to Sean Connery here, expecting another Calm Mind. He does just go for the Scald. So this is a +1 Scald. We will survive. Luckily, we will not take any Scald burns, which is super good for us. And we're just going to Dark Pulse, try and break this thing's substitute, because we don't want whatever we bring in having to fight through its substitutes. So that is the goal here, to leave him without a substitute on his side of the field. We do believe Dark Pulse from this range will not break the substitute. Woof, at +1. That's no bueno for us. So Greninja goes down for ultimately nothing. And that was just really poor play on our part, looking back on it. And the way that we played around with our guys really makes me sad. But Possum's going to come out here. We really need to get this sub out of the way. We're going to drop the Plasma Fists. The animation is just wonderful. It's going to break this substitute, and he's just going to Scald off on us. And we are not sitting in a very favorable position. So he's going to come out, going to hit us with a Scald, and it's just like, oh geez. The Scald isn't going to take us out, which is fantastic. We are toxic, so we don't have to worry about getting burnt. So that is one positive that we can draw out of this. Now we are sitting at a point where I don't want to drop a hit, and we just want to toxic whatever is going to be, if he decides to stay in, or if he wants to switch out. Toxic is going to hit something. We aren't going to get Life Orb recoil from it, which is awesome, and we will be able to survive the toxic damage. So that is really good for us. That is going to give us the option to get one more hit. He is going to Mega Up here. It will let us knock off. Not that it's going to remove anything, but it will give us super effective damage. Seeing as our only other two moves are Plasma Fists and Close Combat, it was our best option. He will have to roost here, which is his best play moving forward. Oh, and that is going to put him well back up into good range, but we are on turn 2 of toxic damage. We're going to bring Togepi out here. He is not going to want to sit in and take a possible Dazzling Gleam to the face, but he does, and is just going to Thunderbolt us, which was an interesting play on his part. Did not expect him to stay in. We are going to go for the Air Slash, which is going to put him at a fairly low range to where he isn't going to be able to survive 2 more toxic damages. So he is going to, what I thought would be a Roost right there. He's going to crit us with that Thunderbolt, but after the first set of damage, we do know that that isn't going to be enough. And surprisingly to us, he does survive that Toxic, which is no bueno. We're going to bring Ariel back out here. Not sure why I didn't just go straight into Shaman. He is going to Thunderbolt. We will survive. We're just going to recover up. He will fall to the Toxic, which will give a kill to our Zeraora, who did hit this thing with the Toxic on the switch in. I should have just gone into the Shaman at that point. We could have Air Slash anything that wanted to come in. And yeah, I don't know. But we don't have any options here. We don't have Protect. We aren't going to survive the Thunderbolt below 50%. So we are just going to go down. Ariel's going to go down, unfortunately, without doing terribly much this match. And at this point, all we can do is go into Shaman, pray for a flinch on the Air Slash to move forward. We aren't going to grab it here. He does have the HP Ice. Now, looking back on it, we could have gone for Dazzling Gleam here, as it did hit the rest of his team fairly well. We did have our again, Dazzling Gleam would hit the rest of his team for decent damage. I think after Rocks, it should have easily taken out Infernape. What he had left on the field was a very low health Suicune, but in the same notion, it would not have one-hit KO the Yveltal when it come in, and I believe he would have been able to two-shot us at that range with Sucker Punches. So that was no good. I just thought our best option at that point was to go with the 60% roll and hope that Air Slash would have flinched. It didn't. So unfortunately, we are going to lose that one 4-0, which, I mean, ultimately just saved us one differential. Because, again, I believe he would have come in and Sucker Punched us with the Yveltal at that point and won. Yeah. But, again, that was misplayed by me. When he had the Latias, I should have just brought in Shaman at that point. Saved a little bit of bulk we would have had left in the Melodic. Maybe would have been able to get it 1 or 2 switches out at that point. If he was going to go for the Sucker Punch shenanigans with his Yveltal, and I might have been able to play around that a little bit better, but definitely misplayed on my side of the field with bringing Melodic in on the Suicune, how I completely mishandled both Greninja and Zeraora. So definitely got a lot to work on to build a better team for ourselves. But anyways, guys, this has been OldManTup. Thank you for coming by. We will catch you on the flip side. Peace.